Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we give you a shortcut to being instantly well-informed. Today, we are focusing on an island that is, well, it's a complete study in paradox. We're talking about Cyprus.
Absolutely. Think about it. You've got this sun-kissed spot, over 300 days of sunshine a year, but it's also sitting right at this intense crossroads of Europe, Asia, and Africa.
And it holds something like 11,000 years of human history. So our mission today is to dig into our sources and pull out the truly irreplaceable wonders of the island. We're looking for those off-the-beaten-path gems that mix ancient myth with some really startling modern history.
And that's the key, isn't it? Cyprus always feels like it's living in multiple timelines at once. On one hand, it's the mythical birthplace of Aphrodite, the goddess of love. But on the other, it's this incredibly complex mosaic of cultures defined by modern political division.
So our goal is to give you a fast track to understanding that dense, multi-layered appeal. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's start at the very beginning. The island's exclusive claim to a divine origin. If you want to touch the ultimate myth, our sources say you have to go straight to Petra to Romeo.
Aphrodite's Rock. It's just off the coast of Paphos.
Right. And this is supposedly the exact spot where the goddess of love just emerged from the sea foam.
And the image of that giant rock, that sea stack, it's iconic. But the sources point to something deeper. It's the ritualistic experience that makes it truly Cypriot.
It's not just for postcards, then?
Not at all. Locals suggest you should actually swim around the boulders.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, at dawn, it's this ceremonial act believed to bring eternal romance. So you're not just seeing the myth, you're participating in it.
I love that.
Yeah.
You're physically connecting to the origin story, and the sources say you should pair that swim with a coastal hike.
Through the wild time, right. So the whole experience is sensory.
Exactly. It's the island's emotional geography.
And that emotional landscape, it takes a very different turn when we shift to modern history.
A much more haunting turn, I'd say.
Let's head east to the ghost town of Varosha near Famagusta. This is where history feels, well, suspended.
Varosha was once the most glamorous resort in the Mediterranean. I mean, we're talking Elizabeth Taylor, Brigitte Bardot.
It was the place to be, but since the 1974 Turkish invasion, it has been completely abandoned.
So you're peering past barbed wire, and what do you see?
You see vine-choked hotels, empty swimming pools, car dealerships with 1970s cars still inside.
It's a frozen, eerie slice of history.
It really is, and it's a sensitive topic, but our sources do note that since 2020, some limited guided tours have been available.
So you can see it for yourself.
You can, but
No.
it's a powerful, deeply melancholic experience. It's a monument to division and displacement.
And that complexity just keeps unfolding, from a ghost town on land to a ghost city under the water.
Snorkeling the sunken ruins of Salamis.
Also near Famagusta. This is a 3,000-year-old Roman port that was partially submerged by earthquakes.
So you just grab a mask and you're floating above marble columns, old harbor walls, mosaics.
All visible right below the crystal clear water.
Mm.
It's incredible.
And that contrast. Ancient ruins from natural disasters right next to modern ruins from political ones. That leads us inland.
To Nicosia.
Europe's very last divided capital. And the division, the green line, isn't just a line on a map. You can actually experience it.
You can just walk across it.
On Leja Street, yeah. You can cross the UN-controlled checkpoint right in the middle of this busy street.
So what's that like?
It's like feeling the city's two heartbeats. On one side, you have Byzantine churches, Greek coffee culture.
Okay.
Then you cross the line, and suddenly you're in an Ottoman-style bazaar, haggling for, say, meerschaum pipes. It's this living lesson in resilience, all inside these old Venetian walls.
Wow. Okay, let's switch gears to ecology, because the sources point to some real natural treasures. We're going on a hunt for the rare bee orchid.
Yes, high up in the Tyrrhene Mountains, and we're talking about a specific subspecies, the Ophrys cutchi,
And it's found only in North Cyprus.
solely in the pine woodlands there. And what's fascinating is how it pollinates. It's called pseudocopulation.
Pseudocopulation.
The flower mimics the exact shape, coloring, and even the pheromones of a female bee.
No way.
Yes. It tricks the male bee into trying to mate with it, and in the process, he pollinates the flower.
So it's not just a flower, it's a biological con artist.
A very sophisticated one.
That's amazing. Okay, so from there we shift to the wild coast to witness loggerhead turtles nesting at Lar Bay.
This is on the remote Akamas Peninsula, so it's a bit rugged to get to.
Which is probably why it's so well preserved.
Exactly. Between May and October, endangered green and loggerhead turtles come ashore to lay their eggs.
And the viewing is ethical.
Strictly. It's all guided by conservation volunteers. It's an intimate experience with nature that completely avoids mass tourism.
Nature preserved by its own isolation. I like that.
And that isolation sets up Cyprus's most surprising paradox.
Which is?
We think of it as this, scorching hot island, but in the winter, you can actually ski there.
Wait, what? Skiing? In Cyprus?
On the sunny slopes of Mount Olympus, in the Troodos Mountains.
Get out of here.
It's true. Troodos becomes Europe's southernmost ski resort. The peaks are almost 2,000 meters high.
So you can be on a beach one week and then...
And then skiing the next. You can literally be tanning in Limassol in December and snowboarding in January.
That is pure Cypriot magic.
It is.
And after a day on the slopes, you've got to warm up. Our sources point to something with deep, deep history.
Commandaria wine.
Which is noted as the world's oldest named wine. Not just an old recipe, a continuously produced appellation.
And it connects right back to the history we were talking about.
Yeah.
This is a sweet, fortified wine that got its name in the 12th century.
From who?
Richard the Lionheart and the Knights Templar. They controlled the area, which they called La Grande Commanderie.
And the wine took its name from that.
Exactly. So when you're sipping a glass in a stone taverna in Troodos, you're tasting a direct link back to the Crusades.
That adds some serious weight to a glass of wine.
It really does.
And speaking of that rugged terrain, to really see the island's wild heart, we have to go back to the Akamis Peninsula.
The hidden gorges and blue lagoons. Yeah, this part takes some effort.
You need a 4x4, right? For the off-road trails.
Definitely. That's how you get to the secret coves, like the Blue Lagoon.
Which is as amazing as it sounds.
The water is this unbelievable turquoise, perfect for swimming, cliff jumping, and while you're trekking, you might even spot the wild mouflon.
The endemic sheep of Cyprus.
The very one. It's the island's raw, unspoiled core.
Okay, let's talk about food, but not just food, a food ritual.
Halloumi?
Halloumi.
Yeah.
But our sources say the ultimate experience is going to a family-run dairy in a place like Plater's and grilling your own over coals.
Oh, absolutely. Halloumi is such a cultural marker, and learning to make it from the traditional sheep and goat milk mix, that's what gives it that high melting point.
And that squeak.
And the famous squeak. But, it was just granted protected designation of origin, PDO status, by the EU in 2021.
Really? After all this time?
After huge cultural and political debates, that legal status proves how irreplaceable it is to the island's identity.
So grilling it over an olive wood fire suddenly feels like a historical event.
It kind of is.
And what do you pair with that salty, squeaky cheese?
You have to pair it with Zivania.
Okay, what is Zivania?
It is the local spirit. It's a potent, high-proof, great pomace brandy. Basically the Cypriot version of grappa. It's strong and it's central to any celebration.
I can imagine. Now, for cultural takeaways, unique treasures, the sources highlight a few. Let's start with textiles.
Lefkaratika lace.
From Lefkara village.
Exquisite hand-woven heirlooms. The detail is so fine. There's a story that Leonardo da Vinci himself visited in 1481 and was so impressed he bought some.
That's a heck of an endorsement.
It is.
Okay, for something totally different and a bit whimsical, the Fairy Tale Museum.
This place is fantastic, and it's in this location you'd never expect.
Right near Nicosia's UN-patrolled no man's land.
Exactly, and inside you find these enchanted clocks, storybook dioramas, folklore exhibits. It's this little pocket of magic thriving in a really tense, unlikely place.
A testament to the power of stories.
For sure. And one last treasure, tying back to that Ottoman legacy.
The meerschaum pipes.
Right. Carved from a rare mineral called seafoam, mostly around Famagusta.
And they change color over time, don't they?
They do. As they're smoked, they slowly shift from a creamy white to this rich amber color, so the pipe literally records the history of its owner.
That's beautiful. Okay, before we wrap up, just a few quick practical tips from the sources. Drive on the left, a holdover from the British.
Important to remember.
Visit in the shoulder seasons, spring or autumn, to avoid the biggest crowds and the most intense heat, and embrace the paria.
Yes. The paria. It's not just a vibe, it's a way of life.
This culture of shared spontaneous gathering, long meals, lots of conversation, the opposite of a quick dinner.
Exactly. You have to lean into that.
So we've covered a huge amount of ground today.
We really have. From mythological origins with Aphrodite to the ecological resilience of the bee orchid and the sea turtles.
To navigating the very real, very contemporary history in Nicosia and Varoshia. What really stands out to me is just how densely packed this one island is with these paradoxes.
It really is.
So what did this all mean? I think the sources show that Cyprus is an island defined by deep connections
Mm,
between myth and reality, between ancient ruins and modern division, and of course between snow and sun. It's a place that really rewards a thoughtful visitor.
it absolutely does.
So here's a final thought for you to mull over. Let's go back to that glass of Commanderia wine. Now that you know its name, its specific style has been aged since the time of Richard the Lionheart and the Knights Templar. How does that incredible historical depth change the simple act of tasting it?
It changes everything.
It reminds you that every single part of this island has a story. Every part of it whispers, stay a little longer.
We hope you feel instantly well informed. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into Cyprus.